Awesome. So everyone go visit my home state of Pennsylvania. Go visit Pittsburgh or Philadelphia. The Mummers Parade, yes, and cheesesteaks.
Gotta do cheesesteaks.
Okay, we're about 5 minutes away from getting started. Everyone, come on down. There's still plenty of seats. I want to see this auditorium packed. I'm a theater gal. I need to see an audience. So type out, like, show us where you guys are coming from, or where you're attending the Cloud campus from. Maryland, Orlando, St. Paul, Kansas City. Everything's up to date in Kansas City. I'm a musical theater gal. There's gonna be some singing today. I apologize. Yay, Austin! Austin in the house. Where's Claremont, Florida? Charlotte, Portland. Oh, Portland, Connecticut. Got a lot of Florida folks. Oh, Hershey, Pennsylvania. Portland, Oregon. That's where a lot of our Austinites, when they get tired, when they leave Texas and they get tired of our heat, they move up to the Portlands, either Maine or Oregon. They're heading up to the opposite weather version of Austin. Highland Village, Texas. Well, great. Is Spike here? Oh, there he is. I just had to turn around.
I'm here.
Okay, Spike, Brian, Jeremy, your mics are working. Okay, avatars, I want to give you a test. Everybody do a quick wave. This is our classroom practice. If you can find, okay, we got some good clapping. Awesome. I see some waves. Joe Bond's in the back waving. Just want to give you guys some time to practice your avatar living. Oh, Sean, thanks for coming down and grabbing a seat. Still lots of seats, folks. Come on down. I promise I won't do that old theater trick and drag you up on the stage. Or maybe I will.
Did I miss anything? Or...
Nope, we're just waiting because we're starting at the top of the hour. We're just waiting for everyone to get in.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So who in the house is going to shareholders in June? Raise your hand or click on write a comment. Does everybody book their trip? I'm getting there a couple days early. I always like to get to these events a couple days early just to enjoy all the amenities at the hotel. They pick these wonderful resorts, and I'm super excited about where we're staying this year. And already starting to imagine what we're going to do at this pool conversation. Like, I'm feeling like there needs to be some props, like some pool floater guns, Nerf guns, rings,
Jill,
costumes. What's that?
I said that's great.
The pool chat, having some props.
Yeah, the props.
Yeah, I think there should be props. I don't know if we can all pack pool props in our suitcases, but I might talk to Mitch and see if he's going to have some props and toys there. amp up the fun. Okay, we're at the top of the hour, everyone. So if you're just joining us, come on down, grab a seat. There's lots of seats available. Got a great group here. So we've been chatting here, the group, and seeing who's here at their first time ICONversations. But I got to tell you, everyone, this is one of my absolute favorite cultural happenings at EXP. So I've been in the industry for 14 years, and I discovered long ago that one of the greatest teaching tools is learning from and hearing the success stories of other top agents. And here at EXP, we get to do this every week at iConversations. And let's be honest, we can easily do it every day if we want in our cloud campus. We can step in. I mean, we heard great ideas today on how to engage and participate as our avatars in the cloud. So, and I can't wait for you to hear the success stories of today's panel. So, ta-da! In my best game show voice, let's get to know today's icons and the stories that make them iconic. Yay! Now you can clap. So Brian, let's start with you. Can you tell us your unique real estate story?
Yes. So are we talking about real estate story in terms of about us and our business, or something?
Yeah. Like, that was my way of saying, tell us about yourself. But, it's, what's your unique real
Perfect.
estate story? How you got into it, how long you've been doing real estate, your real estate story from beginning to now.
So I'm Brian White. I'm in the suburbs of Dallas, Texas. My wife and I lead a team called Blue Fuse Realty Group. And one of the first questions we get is, how did you come up with Blue Fuse? So prior to real estate, I had spent 20 years in corporate sales as a sales director for some really big companies, leading sales teams, calling on some really large companies, teaching other folks how to sell. Well, my wife had been in real estate, and we call her Rain Man for real estate. She literally, if she's ever seen a floor plan, been inside a home, she has photographic recall, great design expertise, etc. So she was looking around the industry and thought that somebody with my sales and business background, if we came in and merged that with our with her Rain Man for real estate capabilities, that we would just be able to build a great business. So we just celebrated my third full year in the business since she recruited me. So when we came into the business together, our name being White, White Realty Group is, it's boring, it's not memorable, so we had to come up with something else. So what we decided was we were fusing my corporate background with her real estate expertise and her magnetic personality. So we fused those two things together to give our clients a great experience. So we are Blue Fuse because we have 3 boys. We are Fused because we fuse our background to give our clients a great experience. So here we are today.
That is great. Thanks, Brian. Thanks for sharing your story. Jeremy, can you share with us next what your unique real estate story is? What got you into real estate and where you are now?
I will do my best. So I've been in sales since I got out of college. I didn't even graduate college, but I got into selling nuts and bolts with Fastenal. Then moved on to selling skateboard parks, where I traveled the country and did presentations in front of park boards, city council, mayors, depending on the size of the town. And I did that for about 3 years until the tornado happened in Joplin, Missouri. And I actually told my boss I couldn't travel anymore. So I got out and started selling phone book ads. And that company moved me down to Northwest Arkansas, where I'm at now. And I sold an ad to a realtor, and they told me I should get into into real estate. So I foolishly followed through with that and got into real estate. Didn't realize how hard it was going to be, but you know, I'm a former Marine, so we just work hard. Sometimes not smart. So I got here with lots of trial and error, but started out with a couple of different brokerages and moved on from KW to EXP just about a year and a half ago.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thanks, Jeremy. Hey, Spike. Spike,
Yes.
share your unique real estate story.
So I've been selling real estate for about 7 years, and my wife Amy and I work together. She really runs the show. We took a little different approach to real estate. Instead of marketing to a large area when we first got into real estate, it made sense to sort of draw a circle around the close to 3,000 homes, and we heavily market to that area. And right now we do about 36 to 40% of transactions in that circle, and that's really how we built our business and maintain it.
Wonderful. So everyone, yesterday we, Brian and Jeremy and Spike and I, we visited in the cloud, and we shared some of our stories and backgrounds and just got to know each other a little bit better and talk about what we were passionate about. And what really surprised me and excited me was the discovery of the common thread of their background, the passion that leads them to come to their business every day. So can you guys talk to us and share a little bit more about the things that you have come to recognize as your key ingredients and special efforts and activities that you do that lead to your success? Spike?
Yes, so because we market to a small area, we really focus in on that marketplace. So we do a ton with open houses. We put about 20 to 30 signs a weekend for open houses. We do open houses Saturday and Sunday, 12 to 2 and 3 to 5. And we probably sell about 30% of our listings through open houses. It's also a great way to market, right? If somebody wakes up on a Saturday morning and they see 40 of our signs, you know, that it's really good for branding, right? We also do a ton with Facebook. We're very successful at Facebook. We've met a lot of really good people through EXP. That's one of the most exciting parts of EXP is what we've learned from people that we've collaborated with in this company. And we met Hank Avik, and we hired him as a coach, and he has totally transformed our Facebook program, and we've been really successful at that. We're really appreciative of that. We're also sort of our secret sauce is we're really run a really good business. We're very passionate about finance, very disciplined with our money. I think a lot of people look at money as, say, sales minus expenses equal profits, and we look at it as sales minus profits equal expenses. So we take our profits first, and then we know how much money we have to work with to do marketing and other things with our business, and that's really, you know, how we do it.
That's a really great tip and reminder for anyone growing their business, and something that I wrote down and was mindful of yesterday when you shared it. So that's great in terms of the financial responsibility and you know, the red light, green light type of process to growing and building your business. So Brian, talk to us a little bit about the efforts that you discovered were most successful in growing your business.
Oh, sure. So first, on the comment around coaching and having a coach. So regardless of where you're at in your business, there is somebody who's been higher, who's done more, who's led the way. And if we look at professional athletes, there's nobody from the minor leagues all the way up to the elite level who don't have a coach. So there's really no reason why any of us should not have a coach. So I definitely just reiterating what Spike said. I think that's a brilliant idea. And there's different coaches for different times and different things. Whether it's Facebook marketing, if it's you know, scripts and dialogues, if it's just, you know, accountability. I think there's a great opportunity there. For us, one of the biggest drivers in our business is video. And we do a ton of video in a variety of formats. One of the reasons we've chosen that is it's just a great way for people to get to know us without us having to, without us being in front of a massive number of people on a regular basis. So, whether it's we're talking to our sphere or we're talking to people we haven't met yet, whether it's an inbound lead or even people that came to an open house, then we try to touch them in different ways with video. So we now have a couple of different Facebook Lives that we do each week, and they're on different topics. So my wife and a friend of hers have a non-real estate related topic that they talk to. It's just a couple of girls getting together talking about girl stuff, and they get great engagement. And what that does is that keeps people engaged with her, so that when she publishes real estate related content, more people see it. I've got a weekly show on Tuesdays where I interview other Icon agents, and we're using that for attraction purposes, and we're doing that via Facebook Live. And then Wednesday every week, we have my wife Tisha and I do a weekly show that's just to provide market updates. We answer real estate questions. Honestly, not that people are asking us those questions, but we make up the questions as if people in the market are asking us these to answer them, and then we publish those. The best part of that is, once we've got that content created, we turn around and republish that. So if we talk about explaining the option period, for instance, then we take that and turn it into a video that we can put on YouTube, that we can share with people. So that gets repurposed and saves us time down the line. And then the last thing I'll say is video texting is super effective. It's a lot more effective whether you know people or not. If you've got somebody's phone number and maybe they're being unresponsive, just recording them a simple 15-20-second video saying, hey, I've tried you a couple of times, saw that you were looking at 123 Main Street, just wanted to follow up to see how I could help, is so much more engaging if they see that you're a real person. It doesn't matter if it's perfect. Nobody likes the way they look on video. Unfortunately, that's the way you look in the real world. So, get over it. And, even if you're not great on video the first time, you're not going to be great on video in a year unless you start being bad on video today. So it's totally okay to just be on video. Just get out there and get started. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you'll get, the better you'll be over time. So I would encourage everybody, number one, just to start. And then whatever platform, whether it's Facebook Live, or even if you just want to record some video first and then publish it, that's a great way to get started. And then you can improve over time.
Great gems, Brian. Yes, and I'm an ex-drama teacher, acting coach, video presentation coach, and it only gets easier the more you do it. I was on a TV show for 8 years, and video wasn't my first language. I was a stage performer, but every year I got better and better. And you have to jump in. You got to jump off that cliff. So great gems, Brian. Thank you. Jeremy, talk to us about some of the unique efforts and activities that you do with your business that have led to your Icon success.
Those are actually some really great tips, Brian. I've been taking notes from you. Thank you for that. So I've, like I said before, I'm a Marine, so I don't do a lot of the smart business decisions. I get out there and I hoof it. And I get out there and shake babies and kiss hands. I get in front of as many people as I possibly can, and I make phone calls, and I do a lot of lead gen and knocking on doors. That's how I built my business, and I've recently been delegating more and more in the last couple of years. And I know I have couple of transaction coordinators and an admin assistant who helps out with some of the stuff behind the scenes. But I get out there and I master my scripts. Sometimes I practice in front of my wife, and she's a really good sport about that. And she's too nice for me though. She doesn't really give me constructive criticism. She lets me off easy. But I do like to practice my scripts, and I think scripts are super important, and you've got to internalize them. And yes, if you don't really internalize them, it sounds pretty scripty, but the more and more you practice, the better you get. And I use recently, since joining EXP in the last year, their technology has really been super helpful to kind of streamline a lot of things. And, it's a lot of it's covered in your monthly tech fees, so I don't have to pay for any extra services. I can just utilize what we have, especially KV Cord, which is amazing. I used to be a Top Producer user. I think that's what it's called. Top Producer is the CRM I used to use religiously, but now with the KV Core system, it's just provided for us, and I think that has really helped out a lot. But the biggest thing I can say that contributes to my business is just mastering my scripts. And also learning from others. And Brian was right, you've got to get a coach. I've had probably 3 coaches in the last 4 years, something like that, that have been super influential, and the last one being extremely influential, because you want to get a new coach for every season, and somebody who does at least twice what you do in production, and learn from them and see how they got to that next level. So that's what I do. I think that's pretty much summing it up there.
That's great. Thank you, Jeremy. I know yesterday we talked a little bit, the 4 of us, a little bit more about scripts, and I really liked what you said about internalizing it. And my formal training and background and education is in theater, and I, over the years, continue to be fascinated with how scripts are taught in business. And I know Brian and Spike and Jeremy, I'll look forward to hearing some more thoughts from you about how do you internalize scripts. But I think new agents have a tendency to really back away and think, I can't, that's not me. Scripts, that's not me. That's not my language. But how do you guys internalize it? Because scripts don't have to be necessarily, somebody else's words. It's certainly helpful to have a master's words that have been successful, but finding out what it is that you're trying to communicate to the customer. So Spike or Brian or Jeremy, can you talk a little bit more about how does a master go about internalizing a script?
So I'll go ahead and answer that one, get that out of the way. I actually do a lot of, it's kind of embarrassing, but I'll stand in front of the mirror and practice my mannerisms and speak my scripts over and over until I got them memorized, and make sure I emphasize or put the right emphasis on the right syllable every time I practice those scripts, to kind of get a different approach to it. And then I'll practice it on my wife or something like that. But you don't have to, memorize the scripts. You just have to kind of get the gist. And every time I've said it in front of a client, it's another practice I have done. But I get better and better every time I get it done. I'm sorry, there's a lot of background noise. Is that me?
No, Jeremy. I think somebody else has their microphone open as well. So
I apologize. So I just practice it in front of the mirror and practice my mannerisms. But I got a lot of scripts, especially objection handlers, and everything we say every day is a script. Conversations that you use to meet new people, it's all scripted. It's just you're so comfortable with using it that it doesn't sound like a script.
So so I love scripts, and I think you have a script whether you know it or not. So whatever you're saying is a script, and without using so as Jill mentioned, you're saying some words, whether it's if you're doing circle prospecting, or you're in an open house, or you're in a listing meeting, then the words you say are a script. So we all get to choose whether or not we're going to use the words that the best in the industry use, or if we just want to wing it. And my view is there's so many great people out there that have massive businesses, that why wouldn't we choose to use the best words possible? So So we do use scripts. We practice them as a team every morning. So we go through them, 3 to 5 times, and then typically do some role play with the scripts every morning from like 8:45 until 9. Yeah, Hector says success leaves clues. That's exactly right. So use the scripts of the best people in the industry, and then we practice them. So we practice them from 8:45 to 9, and then you just want to get outside of practice. You just want to get some reps. So reps can be on the phone. My wife will tell you that if you guys don't know where to get scripts, there are a lot of places out there. Tom Ferry is one of the best in the business. A lot of his stuff is free and public. There's just a tremendous amount of content that's available out there. There are a variety of podcasts that you guys can seek out and search and find some amazing scripts. And Jeremy says he's happy to share his. So that's awesome, Jeremy.
Yeah, that's really helpful, Jeremy. And any shared scripts can be helpful. And I think a missing step that people often forget when they're approaching scripts, new agents, is analyzing. I mean, an actor analyzes why they're saying what they're saying. So if you take some quality time to sit and ask yourself, why am I saying these things? What am I trying to accomplish? It's a basic acting formula. What plus why equals the how. And Jeremy, just so you know, as an acting teacher, one of the exercises is standing in front of a mirror. That's one of many, is standing in front of a mirror. And is it authentic? I mean, it's no different. The sales work that we do is no different from the expectations that we have of a performer on a stage, for it to be authentic and real, Academy Award winning real. So Spike, do you use any scripts in the work that you do?
We do. So I always look at sales as, when you're new to sales, you're kind of a sales trainee, scripts are critical. You have to learn them. And once you learn them, you'll internalize them. You may change a few of the words here or there to make it more your words, but you'll operate within the framework of that script. Once you are more of a sales professional and you know the scripts like the back of your hand, they become key lines. So you'll use them for certain situations, certain questions. So you kind of start answering questions the same way almost every time. And we pretty much today just use key lines and mix in stories. So we'll tell a story for an answer. We'll use a key line. We'll tell them a couple of stories. And I think that's very important.
Spike, that was great. I hope everyone heard what Spike just said about, sometimes sharing a story can be a script. I joke and say, when I was in theater, I was terrible at improvisation. I am a silly person, but I'm not very witty. And I always wanted a script when I was in theater. But when I got into sales, I really avoided scripts and was scared of them because they felt inauthentic to me. But what helped me was when I really honed in and understanding my given circumstances. What kind of business do I want to own? What kind of business am I? And once I understood all of my strengths, my passions, my why, the activities that I was doing for lead generation, then now I'm a master improvisationalist at listing and buyer consults and appointments. That you've got to know the world of your play, the world of your story. And once you do, you can live in that, and you're going to be filled with scripts. So something else I was really taken by yesterday in hearing all of your stories was your focus. Each one of you had a really defined world that you lived in terms of the people that you served, and getting up every day and knowing exactly what activities and efforts. Some people are going to call it a secret sauce. I think that's a little too simple. I think it's more than a secret sauce. I think it's really knowing and having the chance to know what activities lead to the best results. Confidence is a key ingredient in icon success, if we want to call it that. So, Brian and Jeremy and Spike, can you tell us a little bit about when you discovered what was working in your business and what your focus was going to be? Jeremy?
Can you repeat that question? I kind of got it broken up.
Sorry, I got a little long-winded. Yesterday when we were talking, and you were talking about how you help military folk and school teachers and nurses and police officers, you were communicating to me that you had a very clear, identified tribe that you were supporting, and great confidence came from that. So, can you share a little bit more about what led you to discover that was a good fit for you?
Yeah, so I love serving veterans. I'm a member of the Post 77 American Legion here in Bentonville, Arkansas, and obviously a former Marine. I was in the Marine Corps from '99 to '04 as a machine gunner. Are there any Marines here in the audience? No, it doesn't look like it. Yeah, well, we're not very smart. We're crown eaters, and we hit the pavement and work hard. And there we go. Here's one. So yeah, there's not a lot of realtors out there who are in the Marine Corps, well, because it takes some level of intelligence, and I think I have to work harder to do that. But I do focus on serving our the service industries like veterans, and I absolutely love it because being a veteran myself, I mean, we don't know what is out there available to us, especially how cool and great the VA phone is, or other options. Navy girl, all right, Cynthia. The Marine Corps is a department of the Navy. That's the men's department. But I'm just joking, guys. So
I know we can't click our mics on quick enough to laugh. That was a very good one, Jeremy.
Okay, thanks. All right. So so I focus on that, and I also love helping teachers. I think they're underappreciated. Nurses. My mom, she's a hospice nurse, and I think there's, if you don't know that industry, I mean, it's pretty crazy and how much they have to deal with. So yeah, Andrew, you don't have to be smart, but you got to at least learn new things, at least embrace new things, especially new technology. I use my background and my experiences to attract people like that, first responders, things like that, so that I can get a referral base. And I even go to the recruiters' offices and introduce myself. We've got two recruiters' offices here in Northwest Arkansas that I'm aware of, but I really just focus on that and try to encourage folks to reach out to me if they have any questions about real estate, and see if I can help them buy, sell, or invest in it in Northwest Arkansas. We've got a really cool and unique area because we've got an average, I think the statistics are about 35 people a day moving into Bentonville alone. I personally cover a 2-county area, so lots of cities to work in. But it's all about getting in front of people. I think the most important thing is to, we can probably outspend ourselves in it if we got into the industry and you just wanted to, spend money on leads. And I think that's okay to an extent, but you got to know how to work those leads and convert them before you start purchasing or spending too much money on that. So I personally talk in front of people. Face to face is the best way to build your sphere and to get those referrals coming in.
That's great. That's great, Jeremy. Thank you. Thank you. Brian, when did you discover that what your lead generation assets were? I loved when Dan was talking about and using the word assets today. In each one of you, Brian, Jeremy, Spike, you all were communicating to me clear assets yesterday, that you clearly understood what your assets were in terms of your key lead generation activities. So, Brian, when did you discover, hey, this really works for me, and I feel confident and clear and have clarity with this?
So, and ours has migrated over time. So I come from a tech world, and I'm a geek. So so we started with a phone and internet lead generation strategy. The first year or two, man, if there was, we spent money on Zillow and Realtor and Google. So we were buying leads from a variety of sources. We were, doing quite a bit of calling, and it was effective. It was just very, very expensive as well. So what we did a great job of with those expenses is leverage those things. We've always been very listing heavy, so we leveraged those listings into great marketing, primarily on Facebook, but really building a brand and building a brand for us locally. So over the last 18 months, we've really been able to develop our core farm and work that more heavily with our sphere of influence. We're incredibly focused on giving back locally. I'm on the board of directors for a local team homeless shelter. We have intentionally served, whether it's the PTA or I would literally go coach my kids' soccer team. That way, because I've got a branded email address, so every time the coach sent an email to the team, right, they were never about real estate. I didn't proposition anyone on the on a team email, but my signature was on that email. So we put that out there on a consistent basis and just reminded people of the business we're in. So we're firm believers that if you build your sphere, if you invest in your sphere, in your community, you give back, and you come from contribution, that will always come back to you. And so far, I think so far this year, we are nearly 70% of our business has come from our sphere of influence, which is a direct flip of from what it was last year.
That is a direct flip. I love hearing that story, and I think it's a good reminder that to stay in tune with your business as it grows, to be analyzing it every year and taking a look at where are my clients coming from, and where should I be placing my efforts, time, money, etc. That's great. I didn't know that you were a soccer coach, Brian, so I'm glad that I'm learning that. I don't play soccer, but if I'd like to learn, I know I can come up to Dallas and learn from you.
Come on up.
So, Spike, is there, like, you remember, can you think back to the discovery when, hey, this is my best effort, like I'm achieving the greatest results from this type of effort initially in your business, early in your business?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we started about 7 or 8 years ago, and I think back then you could probably just grab a Zillow zip code and generate a little bit of business that way and reach a certain level of success. I don't think you could do that today. I think today the best opportunity to build your business is with Facebook. I think Facebook is an amazing free tool for people. But also, I like Gene Frederick's book, 101 Ways to Lead Generate in Real Estate. And really, Gene is 100% correct in that book. There is really 100 or a couple hundred ways to lead generate in real estate, but you need to be great at 3 or 4 of them. So just pick 3 or 4 things and be perfect at it. Our business didn't really take off till I finally realized that what I want to do as a realtor is help people get what they want more than what I wanted. And when I started caring more about people getting what they want more than myself, that's when our business really took off. And I'll give you an example. We recently had a client that we had their house under contract as a listing for, $600,000. So it's a $20,000 commission. And they were selling their house because they were getting divorced. And about 3 weeks before closing, they decided they wanted to get back together and not get divorced, and they wanted to keep the house. So we helped them negotiate out of the contract, which essentially was negotiating out of $20,000 for us. But that's when you do stuff like that, they'll become like 10 transactions for us in the future. And when you really realize that just helping people get what they want, regardless of what's good for you or not, is really when your business will take off like a rocket ship.
Ding, 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 clap, clap. Spike, you just said something really important. And I think this is a really hard lesson for new agents, and because let's just be honest and real. When you're starting out, you've invested a lot of money into this business, you're not generating a lot of income, and you need to make money. And it's hard to, you want to care about the other people, but you need to put food on the table. So all three of you talk to me a little bit, talk to us about that, talk to the new agents in this auditorium and tuning in on Workplace and YouTube. The new agents that are have that added pressure of I've got to survive. How do you balance that? I need to care about others and make that long-term investment in caring about somebody else, and I got to make money. How do you balance that?
So I mean, that's a great question. I think you need to balance it for a variety of reasons. Number one, it's the right thing to do. From an integrity perspective, we have a fiduciary responsibility to our clients. So that's the one thing. The other is the reality is people can smell commission breath, and if they sense that we're chasing the dollar rather than trying to serve them at the highest level we possibly can, then they get that. Right? They're gonna feel it and experience it, and they're either gonna have less trust in you, or maybe they're gonna want to work with someone else. So we struggled with that firsthand when I left a big time sales director job at a really big company with benefits, and we jumped off the cliff to start our own business. So I think the idea is you have to work enough and hard enough and every way possible to have enough deals where you can work with the people you want to work with and not be in a position where you have to do something that or take a deal, handle a situation the way you don't want to. I mean, I think for the first 15 months that I was in this business, I didn't take a single day off. I mean, like, not one. So and that's just what we had to do to replace our previous income and have enough business where we could do the right things for our clients, the right things for our family, and kind of the compound effect. You put in the work consistently, and day one you get nothing, day two you get nothing, day 30 it turns into something, day 90 it turns into more, and then 3 years later we're on the stage here. So but I would say just make sure you're putting in more than enough effort so you have more than enough deals where you're not in a compromising position where you have to do the wrong thing at a weak moment.
Well said, Brian.
Yeah,
Jeremy?
I was gonna say that you got to work to learn before you work to earn. So if you're chasing that dollar, I mean, you're gonna be running really hard, and working to learn before you really start working to earn. So you can, and sometimes we forget, that is our primary goal, is to serve our clients. And I think that should be the number one focus, is to be a servant to our clients and make sure that we're there for them, because this is a pretty important transaction for them, and sometimes the largest transactions in their lives. So we've got to make sure we understand that and come to them with a heart of a servant, so that you can really give them what they need.
That's great. I am a big fan of our National Association of Realtors Code of Ethics, and I said I'm an ex-school teacher, so I'm going to give everyone an assignment today to go back and read the preamble of our Code of Ethics. Pretty profound. Such interests impose obligations beyond those of ordinary commerce. They impose grave social responsibility and a patriotic duty to which realtors should dedicate themselves. That's some pretty passionate language, folks. So I'm going to circle back to a topic that you all three brought up. You all three discussed coaching and coaches. So we're talking a little bit about, we've got a variety of experiences here at ICONversations today. So I know I can recognize the value of a coach for someone who's been in the industry for several years and maybe working to get to a next level. But talk to us about, I mean, do you really think that a coach for a brand new agent year one in the industry is valuable? I don't have an answer for that right now. I'm just saying I'd be interested to know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I'll ask that one, Jill. I think a coach in our business is really critical. If you think about it, we kind of have programming, right? So our programming is our life experiences, and they've kind of sort of molded our opinion, which is our programming. And I think a real estate coach or any coach would help you maybe see the gaps that are blind spots in your programming and get you to think of things a different way. Um, Also with coaching, you're bringing in sort of expertise that you may not have, like your weaknesses. And our weaknesses, I'm 54 years old. My weakness was really Facebook and how to properly go with that, and Facebook ads and more social media and video. I've done a couple of Facebook lives, and I think the first time I did one, I almost had to change my Depends afterwards because it was such a big deal for me. But I think the best coaching program out there right now is, I would take Hank Avick runs a program called the National Coaching League, and they teach a class called 36 to Life. And I saw earlier today that somebody posted on the questions that who do you hire if you don't have money to hire a coach? You can take a group coaching course like 36 to Life, which would just be a couple $100 probably. And I think that's a great place to start and kind of dip your toe in coaching by getting more involved in group coaching.
Okay,
But
that's great. That's great. And yes, somebody mentioned, we do one of the great things, Kimberly Ryan and her team at EXP University, we have really uh, ramped up the great mentorship program that we have here at EXP. I'm a certified EXP mentor and I work with mentees. Yes, that is a mentorship program and a level of coaching. So we're talking a little bit more about some extra added on types of coaching, working with maybe some folks outside or even within EXP. So, Jeremy, did you have some thoughts on coaching?
Yeah, I think coaching is super important, but I do want to warn you. Sometimes you've really got to make sure you interview several coaches. I mean, I think you can learn something from everybody, and being in your first year or two, it may not be wise to just spend your money on somebody for a coaching program. Maybe get somebody local who's a mentor or become a mentee, I guess you would say, with a mentor in your local area with EXP. So you're not forking over a lot of dough in the beginning, because I do think when you first get into real estate, you get bombarded with these salespeople who want to sell you on this, new technology. You're tired of cold calling? Use us. We guarantee you to have leads. But you can spend so much money out there in this industry because we have our numbers out there. So you're getting called and sold on some products or services. So be careful with that and find somebody local, or find a mentor within EXP and really shadow and get to know from them first, and then once you start getting into that production level where you feel like you need something new, then that's when you start looking at other avenues.
That's great. Thank you, Jeremy. Really good tips.
hey,
Brian,
Jill,
anything you want to add about?
hey, Jill, this is Spike. Can I add one
Yeah,
thing to that?
yeah, absolutely.
So a good coach will care more about you than they will about the relationship or the income. Just like you would care more about your relationship with your client than the income you're making for that client. So that's why interviewing a lot of coaches is very important. But also, if you don't, you'll know when you have a great fit. But there are really good programs to kind of dip your toe in the water. I think it was eye-opening for me when we got involved in coaching. So I just want to add that.
Thank you. Thank you, Spike. Brian, is there anything you want to add about coaching
Yeah.
for new or experienced agents?
Yeah, I think Spike's spot on about the coach caring more about your success than about the income. The folks that you want to coach with, the amount of income they're getting from you is insignificant, right? Because their level of success is so high that they're doing it because they like giving. and they like leading and they like succeeding through others. So, in terms of paying for, how do you pay for it? I think there's a couple of different things as a new agent. Number one is there are coaching programs out there that you pay out of closed volume. So, if you can't afford the, whatever the fee is, right, then you can pay for it. And if you don't close, then you don't pay. There are programs like that that are available. The other thing is, there are a number of great coaching programs out there that they're group coaching, right? So I'm still part of one in addition to other coaching. I'm still part of one that is specific to Sphere and largely video based, right? So that they provide me with a monthly script to video text everyone. That includes BombBomb as a video emailing software, and I get a monthly script on the video I'm supposed to record and send that out to my Sphere, so that they're getting at least 2 times a month a video recorded message from me. And there are those kinds of programs that are out there that are incredibly inexpensive. They provide a lot of coaching that are out there. So somebody asked me about the programs that are out there, so we can share those with you. I'm not part of one currently, so I don't want to give you bad information, but that's actually how I got started. So happy to share that with you.
Yeah, and I'd like to also add, I've spent over $2,000 a month on coaching before, and I think it was very valuable. But sometimes we consult on things that really we're trying to walk, or we're trying to run before we walk, and there's so many different programs out there. So you really got to take your time and don't just say yes as soon as somebody calls you and offers you a product or service. Give it some thought and ask around, get some feedback from others who have used the coaching. But I think there's a lot of great coaches out there and different services that you can use to grow your business. But you really do got to work to learn and know how to convert business and get your own business before you start, deciding to purchase everything in your first year to make it easier for you, because this business, it's not easy, and it is simple. It will work. It's just not easy. You've really got to work your tail off to get to know the industry so you can be a really good service to your client.
Yeah, and I will add, I know we're, as Icon agents, we're all deeply committed to helping our fellow EXP agents. And I've mentioned the EXP University and mentorship program. Kimberly Ryan and the team have created their 8-module education program, that new agents are going through. And they do have to go through personal and business budgets. So if you're a new agent, and you're looking at that personal and business budget, this is one of the things that you would think through is, what do I want to be spending my money on? What's going to be the greatest return on my investment? And to just pace yourself. Because as a new agent, you could be throwing a lot of money out there for all sorts of things that you think are going to be the easy, quick answer to growing your business. So, and another thought that I had as I was listening to you guys is just a reminder, we have this amazing community and workplace. So if you're a new or experienced agent looking to grow your business, workplace, go there. I mean, at the beginning of this year, I spent one whole day just kind of like living in workplace. There was such a high level of collaboration going on there. I felt a little overwhelmed. And I'm a pretty, high energy person. And I was like, holy cow, this is too much creativity for me. So if you're looking for a coach or a video group, have you spent time going through all of the various groups that are on Workplace? There's going to be somebody there that's going to give you great advice on some coaches in specific areas or styles. So go to Workplace. Okay, so we're in our last 10 minutes. I want to ask you guys one final question and have you guys talk amongst yourselves. For those agents in the auditorium today and at our event who are looking to become an icon in the coming year, What advice or thoughts can you share with them that you think helped you to get to that next level? Whoever wants to start.
I'll start. I would definitely go to all the EXP functions. We've learned so much from other EXP agents since we've been with the company about 2 years. Every time we go to the shareholders meeting, EXPCon, recently we had the ICON meeting down in Tampa. We learn a tremendous amount, and we always come away with great concepts. But it is a shiny nickel industry, right? People chase the shiny nickel, and the key is pick 3 or 4 really good things that fit you and do them great. Consistency, 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 I would say.
Yeah, so
Great.
so consistency is the best word ever. I think attending the events is terrific. Workplace was a great recommendation earlier, right? We just closed a transaction in DC, a referral transaction. We have one going in Montana, one going soon out to Ohio, and another one inbound from an agent in Virginia. So just building your network there is a great way to get other business. But for something folks can do every day, number one is increase the number of conversations you're having with people. The number of real estate conversations you're having with people, whatever that looks like for you. So if that's Facebook commenting, okay. If that's cold calling, great. If that's going from 2 open houses a month to 2 open houses a weekend, then awesome. But whatever you've got to do, increase the number of conversations you're having with other people dramatically. Once you do that, then you can turn and focus on, okay, how do I improve the quality of conversations I'm having? But first, you just need to have as many conversations as you possibly can with as many people. The more people that know you're an agent and know you're in the business, the more opportunity they've got to choose you as their agent or to refer you to someone who might need your services. So just have lots of conversations all day, every day with as many people as you possibly can.
Great. Awesome. Jeremy, what words of encouragement can you share with us?
Well, get used to taking rejection and learn to love it, because it's going to happen a lot more frequently than getting a yes. But as long as you stick to it, I mean, it's going to happen. And I keep saying I'm not smart, but I know I was smart enough to stay in the industry. My first 3 years were just a struggle, guys. It's like, the average realtor makes, what is it, 30,000 a year, but there's so many more who make a lot less. But you've got to stick to it. You got to do at least 3 to 5 years to start feeling that that you've got your niche going on, and you keep learning from somebody, everybody. You can learn from something from everybody, and sometimes that's what not to do, but just stick to it, guys, because after your second year, third year, it starts to start picking up, and you'll start receiving those referrals, and it's a really good feeling. I feel like for me personally, in my third year, it was finally like, I think I understand this business now. I know that's a long time in some people's eyes, but man, most people don't make it past their first year. I think, what's the national statistics? It's 80%. Don't be that statistic. Just stick to it, because you will start to get in your groove and things will just start to come more naturally.
Yeah, that's great, Jeremy. And I know we had a great conversation about failure yesterday when the 4 of us were visiting, and we'll I might want us to chat about that here briefly. But as an icon, several years ago, a top producing agent taught me my most valuable lesson, which is show up, be an active participant. We can get really isolated in this industry and just work in our home office and go show homes. But as Spike said, go to the events. Being able to hear other top producing EXP agent stories so valuable, so helpful. Being able to listen and visit and talk with our leadership, so helpful. Being able to mastermind just in waiting in a line with a group of agents for a class, so helpful. So show up, be an active participant, and let's say it. Don't be afraid to fail. Brian, Jeremy, Spike, you all discussed that yesterday. Any final thoughts that you want to share about the benefits of failing forward?
So the joke at my house is that I break stuff. That's my wife loves to make fun of me and just say that I break stuff. And I really I've tried a lot of stuff. I screw up a lot of stuff. If you're not messing up, then you're not doing enough things, right? So don't be afraid to try new things, because the more things you try, the more opportunity you have to be successful. You just got to figure out quickly, right? So fail quickly. Yeah, okay, well, that didn't work. Let's not do that again, and then move on to the next thing. So, honestly, I love failing because it means that we tried something and we've got an opportunity to get better, and just don't do the same thing twice and move on to the next thing.
That's a really great point. I feel like we're so afraid of making mistakes that it gets in our way. And this, a lot of times, these prospects don't even know you're messing up. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. I mean, in this industry, you've really got to be intentional to do something wrong to get in any trouble. So, I mean, you've got to be unethical or to break the law. And if obviously as a new agent, sometimes you don't know all of that, but you've got to get the fear out of the way. Don't be afraid to make those mistakes, because you'll get in front of people and you'll say some stuff that you just feel like, oh my gosh, that was stupid. I can't believe I said that. But that's part of the process to kind of learn and fine tune your scripts and figure it out. But you've really got to just get that fear out of the way and learn to embrace those mistakes. Embrace the suck. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. It's a thing that,
I love that.
it's a thing in the military that I think a lot of people say, especially Marine Corps. But embrace the suck, because it's going to suck sometimes. But especially when you're lead generating and you start getting on the phones, embrace that suck and just go after. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, because they're not going to remember you 5 minutes after you get off the phone.
Wow. Well, see, I'm a recovering perfectionist, everyone. I struggle with perfectionism, and Glenn Sanford has been my best coach and reminding me to just jump off that cliff. You'll figure it out. You're smart, you're talented. So let's look to our great leaders here at EXP, who are disrupting the industry every day in learning how to fail forward and redefine our industry. That's what's happening here. And you've got three icons up here that have achieved wonderful, tremendous success and are being honest and authentic with you today about their failures and their fears and their lessons of confidence and learning. Any last words, Spike?
I would just say, don't be afraid to have fun. I mean, this is a great business. We get paid extremely well. We enjoy our relationships with people, and we always try to have fun. We don't get too caught up in it. We're not doing brain surgery. Nobody's going to die. Just enjoy yourself and be authentic.
Be epic. I love that. Brian, any final words?
So I love Spike's comment, and in terms of being authentic, go live your life publicly, because those are your people, right? If you're a golfer, great. Don't be afraid of showing yourself playing golf, because you're like, oh, people are gonna think I'm not working. No, those are your people. So go show your people who you are. If it's soccer practice, if it's serving at church, or if it's whatever, go live an awesome life and love on people and be out there in the world, because again, those are your people. Those are the ones that are going to want to do business with you, and honestly, that you're going to enjoy doing that the most. So just have a blast, and people will be attracted to you. That goes both for the real estate business and for joining you at EXP.
Wonderful. Hey, Jeremy, can our Marine lift us up, like get us ramped to go out there with some final words?
I appreciate that. I don't think I've ever been accused of being a good motivator, but I really think everybody has the ability to do this job. Sometimes when you're first starting out, you're feeling like you're going to hit rock bottom. You don't know if you can make it. Well, you can. I mean, I did it. I've been in this business for about 6 years now, and I really still feel like I got a lot to learn. I make a lot of mistakes. I mean, I've made more mistakes than anybody that I've ever met, I believe. And I just kept pushing through, guys. Because every one of you guys can get to this level. It is attainable. It's not, it's not hard. It's a simple process. It is an attainable process too, because anybody can do that. I mean, you got to cap and hit around 20 extra transactions, and you can be at this level. You just got to keep pushing forward.
Okay, so is the Marine phrase "hoo-yah"? Is that a thing? Am I just being
pretty close.
dramatic?
That sounds like
Hoo-yah! Okay,
that sounds
everybody.
like an army face.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I don't know. It's all theater to me. I'm sorry. I'm getting it all wrong.
It's
But I'm
hoorah!
failing. I'm failing forward. So,
Hoorah!
guys, we're at the top of the hour. Like, we have had so much fun sharing and collaborating with you. Go find your people. Go connect with your community. Go engage with them. They are looking for leaders. And as a realtor, you can go lead and engage with them and serve them at a high level. EXP Realty proud. Brian, Jeremy, Spike, thank you so much for all of your contributions today. Come visit with us in the workplace, everyone. Ask us your questions, but have a great day, and onward we go. Woo-hoo! Dance.
Thanks, Jill.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. It was great.
Thank you. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Bye-bye, everyone.